Given that we've all got playoff fever right now, I get that a lottery-bound team coming off one of the worst stretches in NBA history isn't exactly on your radar. But we need to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know plenty of people watching will probably be rooting against the Thunder when the lottery rolls around, because of how shamelessly OKC tanked the second half of the season. But if those lottery balls bounce right for this team, look out. Because the Thunder, yes, the 22-50 Thunder, are the NBA's sleeping giant. The Thunder have been wanting to hit the reset button for a while. From the moment Paul George asked out in 2019 and was flipped to the Clippers for a massive package of picks and players that included Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which precluded the trading of franchise icon Russell Westbrook, OKC has had its eye on the bottom, as in the bottom of the standings. But Chris Paul, Gilgeous-Alexander, and a scrappy 2019-20 team had other ideas, playing at the equivalent of a 50-win pace as part of a surprising run to the 2020 playoffs.
Dort for three, blocked by Harden. Dort got it back, tried to throw it off Harden, and missed him. Ruckus ball.
That Thunder team was closer to contention than anyone, including the Thunder themselves, wanted to admit. With the organization still set on a full-blown rebuild, CP3 was traded to Phoenix for a package that included, among other things, a first-round draft pick, Kelly Oubre, and Ricky Rubio. Oubre and Rubio were then flipped for more picks and players, and the Thunder were once again set up to fail in the short term in search of long-term gain. Only there was a problem with that plan. Shai's game took a massive leap, and an underrated blend of young talent and veteran savvy had the Thunder still hanging around the play-in race midway through the season. Then, general manager Sam Presti went full throttle on his commitment to tanking. The Thunder traded George Hill for a package that netted them, you guessed it, more picks, traded Hamidou Diallo for Svi Mykhailiuk and a 2027 second rounder in a deal I still don't understand other than OKC not wanting to deal with Diallo's restricted free agency, and shut down a healthy Al Horford in the middle of a surprisingly resurgent season for the veteran big man. Sitting Horford was done under the guise of preserving the former All-Star for a potential trade this offseason, when his long-term contract won't be as cumbersome. But it was also an obvious ploy to lose more games in the present, which the Thunder did, especially once Gilgeous-Alexander was also shut down with half the season remaining due to plantar fascia in his right foot.
I'm just getting suspicious!
Love it or hate it, the plan worked. The Thunder lost 26 of their final 29 games to go from within a couple games of a play-in spot in late March to a bottom 5 overall record by their season finale. Though beating a Clippers team tanking for playoff positioning in that season finale wasn't part of the plan. So after catching you up on the wild ride that got us here, you may be asking, how the hell is this a sleeping giant? It begins with SGA, the lanky bridge that connects the overachieving Thunder of today to a potential juggernaut of tomorrow. Gilgeous-Alexander's game took a sizable leap playing alongside Paul in 2019-20, but the makeup of the 2020-2021 Thunder looked tailor-made to plunge the young star's efficiency and effectiveness. Shouldering the offensive burden that comes with being the lead ball handler and top scoring option on a bad team with an anemic supporting cast is supposed to be rough on young players. Not for SGA.
I tell you, Shai is the hardest working guy with the basketball. He's got everybody looking at him every time he catches it.
Well, he just got blitzed by Green. Instead goes up.
The third-year guard excelled under trying circumstances, averaging 23.7 points, 5.9 assists, and 4.7 rebounds on 52, 41, 82 shooting, putting him among the elite of the elite this season when it came to combining scoring, playmaking, and efficiency. With few competent release valves around him, Gilgeous-Alexander's turnover rate climbed, but the 22-year-old also shot the ball better than league average from almost every area of the court, and didn't let his defensive effort falter under the weight of increased offensive responsibilities. To put his offensive value in perspective, consider that with SGA off the court this season, the Thunder scored at a rate worse than any team over the last 5 years. With Gilgeous-Alexander on the court trying to turn water into wine every night, OKC posted an offensive rating that wouldn't even have been the worst offense this year. What he did on the offensive end this season was mind-blowing, considering the dearth of capable scorers, creators, or shooters around him. And given SGA's age and defensive upside, all signs point to the Thunder not only having a future all-star in their midst, but the type of foundational superstar that future championship contenders are built upon.
I like the sound of that.
As Gilgeous-Alexander continues to develop into an absolute two-way stud, the next step for OKC is finding a couple more of those foundational stars and building blocks. And they may not have to look very far. Lu Dort's development has been one of the NBA's most stunning stories over the last year and a half.
Getting it into Horford. Horford catches, kicks, Dort for the win. It's good! And Lu Dort ends it.
From undrafted in 2019 to playoff starter in 2020 to now being one of the NBA's best on-ball defenders with some developing offensive pop, Dort's rapid progression could be a key catalyst for the Thunder, especially because of the unbelievably team-friendly deal he's on. As an undrafted player, Dort's first NBA contract wasn't guaranteed, nor was it as long or as structured as those of drafted rookies. Because of this, the Thunder were already able to extend Dort last year and now have the 22-year-old locked up through 2023 on a non-guaranteed contract that will pay him less than $3.8 million combined over the next 2 seasons. The Thunder also got second-half revelation Moses Brown to sign a similarly team-friendly deal this year. And while that level of compensation is a disservice to Dort's contributions and Brown's upside, and these lowball deals are part of why people want OKC's grand plan to fail, it's an undisputed boon for the Thunder. No one outside of the game's top-tier superstars provides more bang for the buck than Dort does on his current contract. Good players being underpaid allows teams to acquire more talent than the salary cap would usually allow, and to build sustainable winners in the era of shorter contracts. Having homegrown talent under team control in general helps in that regard. And the Thunder have plenty of it. Darius Bazley is slowly adding to his game. 2019 second-rounder Isaiah Roby surprised everyone this season with his ability to finish inside and his offensive rebounding prowess. International rookies Aleksej Pokusevski and Theo Maledon are still young, raw, and intriguing enough that even if they don't end up being long-term contributors in Oklahoma City, another team will consider them worth taking a chance on. Poku himself might be the most fascinating prospect in the entire league. He's a 7-footer with guard skills, topped 20-plus points on 5 separate occasions this season, and is younger than Cade Cunningham and some of the 2021 draft's biggest names. Between Dort, Brown, Bazley, Roby, and the 2 rookies, the Thunder should have at least a couple of keepers to complement Gilgeous-Alexander when the team is ready to turn the corner, and numerous options to construct future trade packages around. In addition to all of that intriguing young talent, we have to note the trump cards overflowing out of Presti's pockets. Literally all of the draft picks. Trading George, Westbrook, Paul, and others over the last 2 years has left the Thunder with an unprecedented collection of draft capital. OKC controls up to 18 first-round picks over the next 6 years, with plenty more pick swaps and second-rounders to boot. The Thunder will also get Houston's top 4 protected first-rounder this year. And while the Rockets did finish with the league's worst record, there's still nearly a 48% chance that the pick lands 5th, in which case it would convey to OKC. So the Thunder could potentially land 2 top 5 picks in a vaunted 2021 class that's expected to produce multiple franchise changers. Look, Oklahoma City will likely never be a free agent destination, but in terms of trying to build a sustainable winner in a non-glamour market, it's tough to envision a better starting point than where the Thunder currently stand. They have 1 star already in tow, might add a couple more by way of this year's draft, and they have the combination of young talent plus draft picks to enter the bidding for the next disgruntled superstar who hits the trade market. Hell, the Thunder have so many future picks that they could trade for a superstar and still have a trove of selections left over to trade for the next disgruntled star after that. You may not like the way they've gone about getting here, but don't get caught napping on this sleeping giant. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.